Licensure Examination for teachers. Subject: Social Sciences. General Education, for both elementary and secondary. Topic: Rizal and other heroes. Question number 1. In Noli Me Tangere, who represents the figure of the oppressed Filipino woman, characterized by her purity, piety, and eventual descent into madness after losing her fiancé? A. Sisa. B. Doña Victorina. C. Maria Clara. D. Capitan Tiago. Correct answer: C. Maria Clara. Why C is correct? Maria Clara is the tragic heroine, the beloved of Crisostomo Ibarra, and the traditional symbol of the Dalagang Filipina, Filipino maiden, chaste, devout, and ultimately a victim of the friars' corruption in power. Why the wrong answers are wrong? A. Sisa represents the suffering mother whose sons were taken by the church, state, eventually driven insane by grief. B. Doña Victorina represents the social climber who denies her Filipino identity by mimicking Spanish customs. D. Capitan Tiago. Not a character in Noli Me Tangere, the novel mentions Capitan Tiago and his wife, Pia Alba, Maria Clara's biological mother. Edge knowledge. Think symbolism. Rizal intentionally created characters to embody societal issues. Maria Clara is the ideal Filipino woman who is corrupted by colonialism. Her purity and subsequent fate symbolize the tragedy of the Philippines under Spanish rule. Question number 2. Which hero is recognized as the father of the Katipunan and the supremo of the organization? A. Jose Rizal. B. Emilio Aguinaldo. C. Emilio Jacinto. D. Andres Bonifacio. Correct answer: D. Andres Bonifacio. Why D is correct? Andres Bonifacio was the founder and initial leader, supremo, of the
Kataas-taasan, kagalang-galangang katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan.
KKK, which formally launched the Philippine Revolution of 1896. Why the wrong answers are wrong? A. Jose Rizal, the national hero who inspired the Katipunan but was not a member and advocated for peaceful reform. B. Emilio Aguinaldo, the leader who eventually took over the revolution after Bonifacio's death and established the First Republic. C. Emilio Jacinto, the brains of the Katipunan and author of the Cartilla, but not the founder or supremo. Edge knowledge. Distinguish the roles. Bonifacio equals founder, supremo, action, father. Jacinto equals brain, writer, idea. Rizal equals inspiration, martyr. Question number 3. The La Liga Filipina, founded by Rizal in 1892, was primarily a movement aimed at A. Armed revolution against Spain. B. Assimilation of the Philippines as a province of Spain. C. Achieving socio-economic reforms and mutual protection through nonviolent means. D. Converting the friars to liberal Catholicism. Correct answer: C. Achieving socio-economic reforms and mutual protection through nonviolent means. Why C is correct? La Liga Filipina was a civic, nonviolent organization. Its aims were mutual protection, defense against injustice, promotion of education, and encouragement of commerce, all focused on practical, socio-economic reform rather than political separation or revolution. Why the wrong answers are wrong? A. This was the goal of the Katipunan, which formed immediately after Rizal's exile, triggered by the Liga's formation. B. This was the primary goal of the propaganda movement in Spain, La Solidaridad, which Rizal was already moving away from. D. The goal was societal reform, not religious conversion of the clergy. Edge knowledge. Rizal was a reformer until his death. His organizations, La Solidaridad, La Liga, were dedicated to peaceful change. The armed option was always Bonifacio's path. Question number 4. In El Filibusterismo, the main protagonist, Crisostomo Ibarra, returns under the guise of what character, seeking to instigate a revolution? A. Padre Florentino. B. Samun. C. Basilio. D. Placido Penitente. Correct answer: B. Samun. Why B is correct? Samun is the wealthy, cynical jeweler who manipulates colonial officials and secretly plots a violent uprising. He is revealed to be the disillusioned Crisostomo Ibarra after years in exile. Why the wrong answers are wrong? A. Padre Florentino. The wise, ethical Filipino priest who Samun confesses to at the end. C. Basilio. The medical student and surviving son of Sisa, who is initially reluctant but later joins Samun's plot. D. Placido Penitente. A student who loses faith in the education system, representing the demoralization of the youth. Edge knowledge. The novel's central theme is transformation and despair. The key is recognizing the disguise. Ibarra, idealist, to Samun, revolutionary jeweler, after his idealistic plans are destroyed. Question number 5. The hero who wrote the poem Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa, Love for the Native Land, to inspire patriotism among the masses was A. Jose Rizal, B. Marcelo H. del Pilar, C. Andres Bonifacio, D. Graciano Lopez Hayna. Correct answer. C. Andres Bonifacio. Why C is correct. Andres Bonifacio wrote the poem Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa, published in the Calayan newspaper, as a powerful, stirring call to action written in simple Tagalog, making it highly accessible and inspirational to the masses whom the Katipunan sought to mobilize. Why the wrong answers are wrong. A. Jose Rizal wrote famous poems like Mi Ultimo Adios and A la Juventud Filipina, usually in Spanish. B. Marcelo H. del Pilar, the editor of La Solidaridad and known for his satirical essays, like Dasalan at Taksahan. D. Graciano Lopez Hayna, the first editor of La Solidaridad and known for his fiery orations and articles like Fray Botad. Edge knowledge. Think audience. Bonifacio wrote in Tagalog for the common man, masa. Rizal and the propagandists generally wrote in Spanish for the intellectuals, Spaniards in Europe. This distinction is the key to identifying the author of a vernacular, mass-oriented piece. Question number 6. Rizal was executed in Bagumbayan on December 30, 1896. If the Katipunan was discovered in August 1896, approximately how long after the discovery and the start of the revolution was Rizal martyred? A. 2 months. B. 4 months. C. 6 months. D. 1 year. Correct answer. B. 4 months. Why B is correct. Katipunan discovery, Cry of Pugadlaan, August 1896. Rizal's execution, December 30, 1896. The span is approximately 4 months, August to September, September to October, October to November, November to December. Why the wrong answers are wrong. A, C, and D. Incorrect temporal calculations. Rizal's trial was swift, and his death came relatively quickly after the revolution had started in earnest. Edge knowledge. The period from August to December 1896 was crucial. Remember the sequence. Discovery, August, to revolution starts to Rizal's trial to execution, December. The short time frame, 4 months, emphasizes the swiftness and political motivation of the Spanish authorities to eliminate the most prominent Filipino figure. Question number 7. Apolinario Mabini is recognized in history as the brains of the revolution. He served as the chief advisor and prime minister for which Filipino government? A. The Katipunan, KKK. B. The Biak na Bato Republic. C. The First Philippine Republic, Malolos. D. The Philippine Commonwealth. Correct answer. C. The First Philippine Republic, Malolos. Why C is correct. Apolinario Mabini joined Aguinaldo's government immediately after Aguinaldo's return from exile in 1898. He was appointed chief advisor and later the first prime minister and foreign minister of the First Philippine Republic, Malolos Republic, 1899. Why the wrong answers are wrong. A. The Katipunan, KKK, Mabini was active much later. The brains of the KKK was Emilio Jacinto. B. The Biak na Bato Republic. This republic was established in 1897, while Mabini was still a political prisoner, invalid in Manila. D. The Philippine Commonwealth. This began in 1935, long after Mabini's death in 1903. Edge knowledge. Distinguish the revolutionary phases. Mabini is associated with the formal government phase, the Republic, under Aguinaldo. He provided the legal and political philosophy, hence the title Brains of the Revolution, the phase following the KKK. Question number 8. In Noli Me Tangere, the character Peloso Potasio is often seen as representing A. The corrupt Spanish friars. B. The enlightened, intellectual Filipino elite. C. The uneducated, easily manipulated masses. D. The cowardly, wealthy Filipino businessman. Correct answer. B. The enlightened, intellectual Filipino elite. Why B is correct. Pilosopo Tasio is the philosopher and former student of philosophy whose ideas are considered too advanced or heretical by the conservative townspeople and the friars. He represents the wise, intellectual, and disillusioned segment of the Filipino elite who recognized the country's problems but were powerless to effect change. Why the wrong answers are wrong. A. Padre Damaso, Padre Salva, etc., represent the corrupt friars. C. Sisa and her fate represent the suffering masses. D. Capitan Tiago represents the cowardly, wealthy businessman. Edge knowledge. Pilosopo means philosopher. His intellectual name and his isolated status, living simply, ignored by the wealthy, are the key indicators that he represents the sad fate of unheard intellectual genius in colonial society. Question number 9. Known as the mother of the Katipunan, who provided shelter, food, and medical assistance to the wounded Katipuneros. A. Gabriela Salang. B. Melchora Aquino, Tandang Sora. C. Teresa Magbanua. D. Gregoria de Jesus. Correct answer. B. Melchora Aquino, Tandang Sora. Why B is correct. Melchora Aquino, or Tandang Sora, was an elderly woman, in her 80s, who, at the beginning of the revolution, used her store and property to secretly house, feed, and nurse the sick and wounded Katipuneros, earning her the title Mother of the Katipunan. Why the wrong answers are wrong. A. Gabriela Salang, the first female Filipino general who continued her husband's revolt in Ilocos, 18th century. C. Teresa Magbanua, the Visayan Joan of Arc, a key female leader and fighter in the Visayan resistance against Spain in the U.S. D. Gregoria de Jesus, Bonifacio's wife and the custodian of the Katipunan's documents, known as the Lacambini. Edge knowledge. When thinking of the mother role, think nurturing, medical care. Tandang Sora's specific contribution was shelter and medical aid, mother, nurse, while Gregoria de Jesus's role was administrative, wife, Lacambini. Question number 10. Rizal was charged with the crime of rebellion, sedition, and illegal association. Which of these charges directly led to his execution? A. Illegal association. B. Rebellion. C. Sedition. D. All of the above. Correct answer. B. Rebellion. Why B is correct. The Spanish government's military court found Rizal guilty of the composite crime of rebellion, rebellion, and sentenced him to death. The core accusation was that his writings in association with the La Liga Filipina were instrumental in inciting the violent uprising of the Katipunan, thus making him the brains of the rebellion. Why the wrong answers are wrong. A and C. These were charges filed against him, but rebellion was the most severe charge that carried the death penalty and was the basis for the final verdict and execution. D. While all were charged, the rebellion conviction was the ultimate basis for the sentence. Edge knowledge. In legal matters, look for the highest penalty. Rebellion is the gravest offense against the state, waging war, and, therefore, the principal charge used to justify the execution of a political enemy like Rizal. If this video gave you an edge, sharpen that like button and subscribe to stay ahead.